Alright, welcome back everybody to a part 2. We just did a part 1 with the what planes you were wanting to kind of go through and what I would recommend with. First it was starting with like the stop with triplane as a refresher, the Bristol M1H with the dual guns for a speed plane, or a bomber plane with the Arco DH-10. These would be the recommended ones I would have. Once again, be mindful if you are wanting to upgrade their armor or not. Like, so I got the Bristol, my silver one here, that has full armor, whereas this one here does not. But not having armor makes your plane run faster and it's not as heavy, so you'll be able to go quicker, you'll be able to turn faster and outmaneuver as well, easier with less armor as well. So if you're not really finding you're getting hit very much, you might not really need the armor, and you'll be able to have more ability with turning and climbing, not doing the armor. Part 2, if you did not get to see that yet, make sure to go through your solo missions, and you'll get more of these flashing little medals going on right here on this icon. Make sure to keep upgrading all of these too. Get higher rewards, get less money per plane you have to spend on, better crew, upgrading cost. You'll get to up to level 6 up here on your planes versus starting at a level 3 that you can max out if you are not using your medals. Basically that is kind of what we ran through a little bit at the beginning there. Or we also talked about the German planes, but we don't really got time. Let's go ahead and kick it back to our other stuff. All of the other information was on the part 1 video. So let's go ahead and select the mission. So you can have up to 5 planes you can bring with you. You can select them by your commander plane. Which one do you want to start with? Which is my Bristol M1H I'm using right now. If you want to bring it on the mission with you, make sure you hit this little checkbox down here. This one I'm not bringing with because it's the starter DH2 plane. We don't really need that anymore. But you can bring up to 5 planes if you got your rewards or your max squadron. You can upgrade here to get up to that point. So let's see. So let's start off with some of the basics, like going against fighters that have gunners on the back or bombers for an example. So let's go ahead and do like regular fighting basics here. I did have to turn the volume down, and I'm tempted to do it a little bit more just because all of the explosions kind of override the voice here a little bit. So it might be a little quieter on the effects here, but that's okay. Okay, so select your missions over here to the right. Right now there is just a protect your own base kind of mission going on here. We're fighters, bombers, and we have to protect our base structures here. So we're going to go in and get started. Okay, so as you see here, we have our plane. We are in realistic mode, so we will be having to take off the plane. One thing, you'll have the left hand and the right hand. So in the right hand, it'll steer the plane left and right, forward, backwards, whichever way you need to go. For the left joystick, you can go faster, slower with it. You can hit the brakes, you can go faster. I would recommend using your right hand to steer the plane because I find you have a little better, once you get used to it, you have a lot more control than using your joystick like that. So I would recommend using this here, getting used to it, figuring it out. You will have a lot better accuracy and not so jerky of a plane doing that. Now, along with your throttle on your left hand, it does control your rear wing here too. So you will be able to strafe the plane left and right while you're flying as well. So I would recommend using, you'll see me using this a lot of the time too. Practice with the flare gun. It's like a little rocket launcher that you can blow things up with pretty well. They might get mad if I shoot my own base here, but it'll take down these balloons very well. It'll work really good on buildings, for an example. It does decent on these guns. It does take about 2 hits per gun on these ones. So let's see. Let's get started here now.
Finally airborne.
Get some speed. Get up here. Once you're above 1,000, it'll kick you into the mission. Okay. So, like saying here, you just use your joystick or just use the virtual joystick, I should say, to steer your plane. If you're on realistic, you can do rolls, you can do everything. You can throttle up and down. Now, as you're throttling, you will see your engine start to overheat here. You want to keep a mind on this and make sure you're not digging into the red here and overheating. So we got some fighters and bombers over here. If you're fighting against bombers, you actually want to attack from below because they have gunners on top of the planes that can hit you if you are way too above them. Aim for the front of the plane just a little bit, and you'll be able to do a lot more damage more better. So like if you're aiming directly at the plane, let's see, let's use him. If we're aiming directly at the plane, you won't hit them because the bullets generally are straight in the back until you get a lot closer. Then you'll actually hit them. Now see, like he's got a gunner too. Planes with the gunners in the back as well, you want to stay below them to keep those gunners from being able to hit you as much either. Kind of like these guys were just kind of picking me a little bit here and there.
That's a confirmed kill on enemy fighter. Mission objective is taking damage.
Keep in mind how far you are from the planes. If you need to aim above them a little bit, or not above it, and aim in front of them a little bit, like so.
Bomber no longer a threat.
Now we're getting really close, so now we can
Nice shot. I got that bomber. I'm hit. I'm hit.
So that's a good rule right there. Just keep staying right underneath those bombers. Don't get above them. They will shoot you up really quick if you're above them. Or even this angle right here, they can still see me just on the top of that plane there. So sometimes those gunners would be able to see me just like this guy's doing up here. Or this one here. So get down below. I can't hit you.
The hull is going down.
Piece of cake. Okay. Now, if you're going...
Enemy bombers in sight. Target down.
What you'll see me doing is, so these guns, like we were talking about, they overheat or they jam up basically after, I think, 7 seconds of continuous firing on this plane here. You can keep hitting that gun to knock it back down. So you'll see this little switch start going upwards. And you gotta hit it to knock it back down and reset the thing, basically. So if you are finding you're not being able to keep firing, give it a quick hit on the gun there, and that'll keep it going. That's the other reason I don't do this, because then you can't hit that gun while you're holding it up there. You have to let go and hit that gun.
I got him.
So really use the throttle with your left joystick there. Let's take these bombers out before they go ahead and hit our base.
Enemy bomber down. Good kill. Bomber out of action. Mission critical target destroyed. Nice shot. I got that bomber. Mission objective achieved.
Okay. Now, as you see on our book here, 15 of 15 bombers are dead. So no, we don't have any more bombers coming. We do have 12 more fighters, because 12 are dead. Coming in right now, it looks like. When we did protect most of our base structures, one of them got that bomb off we seen earlier. That probably hit one. Another thing you can do is, while we were talking about our engine speed a little bit, when you're throttling, your engine speed will go up here. So now we're full speed here, and we're still holding the throttle. If you are up to this point, feather your joystick. Go forward with your joystick, and it'll kind of look about like what's going on here. And you'll keep your speed and momentum going, but you will not overheat your engine. So you can keep going way well by just throttling back and forth on your throttle there on your joystick by just
I've got one on my
going
tail.
up and releasing. This here, like what you're talking about, that's your heat. This is your engine temperature overheating. This is your speed you're going. This is your altitude, which when we get into doing bombing, we're going to have to talk about altitude a little bit more and where is safe, good bombing conditions to hit as well, without being in range of getting hit from anti-aircraft, basically. Let's go ahead and clean these guys up really quick.
Requesting assistance. Good kill. Enemy fighter going down in flames.
So just aim right in the front a little bit of them.
Fighter destroyed.
Another thing is, you see how like off in the distance these guys don't have like a little white thing around them, but like this one over here does. If you do not see the white around him, you will not be able to hit them until that shows up. Which it finally showed up on that guy there.
Good kill. Enemy fighter going down in flames.
So don't really waste your time shooting.
He's going down in flames.
Unless you see the whites around their icon there.
Lots of smoke coming out.
These are not enemy ones, but say if you were doing enemy blimps right here, this flare would be able to one-shot these blimps here. We might get into that in another one down the road here, but you can also just keep on shooting anyways, and then just keep smacking that gun, and they all take damage if they were enemies.
That is down. Objective completed.
Another little thing, you see this little arrow right here? This little arrow will be showing you where the enemy is as well, so you can kind of follow that arrow a little bit to try to find them. Looks like it's talking about these guys over here. Once again, we're just up here and we're just throttling, just feathering the throttle to keep that speed and momentum going without overheating your engine right now. Get a little bit more advanced techniques on that. So I like to start from the back a little bit and work my way to the front, unless I got like a whole flying V formation coming.
Objective complete. Target is secure. Mission complete. Going back to base.
Really, when it comes to fighting them, you'll find what angles work best for you with a lot of practice, and which angle to come in at their flying formations to be able to knock multiple out of the air really quick. Like I said, when you're shooting them, just keep smacking that gun, and that'll help kind of keep your firing going. Go ahead and take a land here.
And I'm back in one piece.
Like I said, using that left and right, make sure that'll help your aiming a lot more immensely and being able to have a lot better aiming going on with your shooting. Let's call this video good for now, and next we will start, if we can. Yeah, we'll do it with that. So let's start next with some bomber basics in another video. If any questions, definitely let me know, hit me up, and I'll be able to answer those for you. Thank you very much.